Coming up on the Spaña Spotlight.
I love our city. I love our community. I love our people. Everything about it. I've seen the good. I've seen the bad. I've seen the ugly. Just this new kid, just with a bunch of fresh ideas, wanting to help to better our city. Our youth is the future. I think a lot of that helps to mentor me along with my friends to be able to see the positive.
Hello and welcome to Spaña Spotlight. My name is Tiana Padilla. I am a recent graduate of Fort Lewis College with a bachelor's degree in journalism and multimedia studies. I was a previous writer for the campus magazine, The Independent, and I'll be the host for this special episode of Spaña Spotlight. The mayor of our wonderful city will be joining us today to get to know him on a more personal level. So, Mayor Tim Salazar, how's your day so far?
So far, so good. Thank you for having me. Today's Friday, so I think that's even a little bit better, Friday afternoon. So
It's perfect.
yes, absolutely. So yeah, I'm very honored to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, we know that you got involved in politics when you were pretty young. Would you mind sharing with us reasons for why you got involved in local politics?
Yes, absolutely. I'm born and raised in the Espanola Valley. I love our city. I love our community. I love our people, everything about it. So even back since when I was a teenager, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to do some community services and how I could be able to do my part to help the community. So I think it started, since that point. And I was looking for various ways how to be able to help. I got in touch with various leaders throughout the community, and I saw, firsthand the way that they led. And I think that's something that really greatly inspired me. But to start off with, though, I think it was my father. Back when I was a little boy, my dad was a Espanola school board member for the Espanola School District. He was a school board member for 18 years. So I got to see firsthand his community service to the Espanola Valley, to our students. Also, he was a state government employee. So I think it started since I was a little boy. I was around it, all the time. And I think that's, what first inspired me. And I think as I grew older, I just wanted more and more to be able to find ways to help the community, which led to eventually running for city council.
What moment can you look back on that made an impact in your decision to be mayor?
So looking back to be mayor, I was a 20-year city council member. So I did work with 5 different mayors during my time on the city council. So that's a big part of what did inspire me to run for mayor. Looking at the 5 mayors that I worked with, I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, I've seen the ugly. I've seen a lot. So I feel that had a lot to do with prepping me to become mayor. Being able to see, what worked and being able to see what didn't work. That was a big inspiration, as well as, various individuals throughout the community, family members and friends, supporters. They've constantly encouraged me throughout the years to run for mayor. And during the time, I guess I just had to feel it for one, and I had to feel that the time is right. But this time around, just the way things happened to turn out, I felt the time was right. Things were going on in the city that I wasn't exactly too happy with, where I felt like well, I could get in there and just like I could try to do my part, and of course work with others.
And how do you balance between your responsibilities as a mayor versus, let's say, like your home life? Does that ever like impact anything at all?
During my time as a city councilor, I did kind of find it a little bit of a juggle to be able to balance my work life and then also my city council life and my family life. And that, I did find it to be kind of a juggle. It also took a little bit, early on with my family as well. But I think throughout the years, I've gotten used to it. They've gotten used to it. Even though the mayor is a new role right now, it's a lot more, responsibility. So right now, I'm a little bit over 2.5 months, going on 3 months on the job. So actually, in reality, I'm still adapting right now. But nonetheless, I think it's very important to stay grounded. Make sure to be able to have that family time. definitely, with my wife, with my kids, with my mother, and uh, family. And then, of course, being able to have some, hobbies and things that, that I do for myself as well. Anything we do, whether it's schooling or work, anything that in life, there's various stresses. So I think it's very healthy to be able to find these outlets. And I think with family and, of course, with my basketball and, just some physical activity, I really think it's a good thing. It's a good balance, definitely. So I'm happy to do that. I just plan to continue doing that as well. But that's a huge part right there, to be able to have that balance. Yes.
And how do you and your family deal with being involved in public office? Does it ever get overwhelming at times?
I think for anybody at various times, things will get overwhelming at times. But what I do is I do take a step back and I look at things in segments, I guess you could say. Like, I kind of try to break it up. So, part 1 through part 5, or however I'm able to do it to accomplish, there may be many minor accomplishments, and then I'm able to get through that. Then I'm able to get through the next step and so on. But I think it's very important just to be able to take that step back and just look at the big picture and then go back to tackle it little by little. Because if you look at the big picture from start to finish, it's like a huge thing to accomplish. So at that point, just even in itself, that could look a little bit overwhelming. So I've learned actually just to find ways how to be able to break it down, and I'm able to do it. So I'm ready and able and willing to tackle anything that comes my way, and see how we could be able to accomplishment or work towards accomplishing it. So yes, so it's definitely a work in progress, but that is something that I would recommend to anybody as well, just to, of course, break it up and then just try to tackle it that way, for sure. Yeah.
Now, as you were growing up in the city, you say that you were born and raised here in Espanola Valley. What was something that you experienced that really drove you into wanting to make a change?
So being born and raised here in the Espanola Valley, I was raised near the Ranchitos Park area. So a lot of my friends, we would get together around, the neighborhoods in that area, and we would go to the park and we would go play baseball. We'd go play pickup baseball. We would have a lot of fun. We'd even, just kick the ball around, with soccer, playing some football. As you also know, the swimming pool is over in that area as well. That's what I loved. I used to be able to, go, have regular swimming with my friends. And I think a lot of that helped to mentor me along with my friends to be able to see the positive things that we could be able to do in the city. And since that point too, I've always had that mindset. Okay, we're able to do this, but what else can we be able to do that is a type of a positive youth activity, and then to be able to grow from it too, how we could be able to learn from it and where things are lacking, so to say, and then how we could be able to move forward. So that's one thing I hold in high regard, is to be able to get our youth involved. That's what we plan to do for this administration, as we've talked about, previously, and I look forward to it, to just being able to involve our youth, and then how we could be able to move forward to effectively do it and to sustain it, to keep it moving forward throughout the administration, and hopefully in the future, even long after I left as well. So definitely.
And now, you'd say that as you were younger, part of youth was kind of breaking yourself out of your shell was to kind of approach like issues, especially that were important to the community. Would you mind sharing with us like an example of an issue that you approached and how you were able to get through it?
Yes, absolutely. So back in the day, a lot of it was even just teenagers to keep away from drinking, for instance. So that was something like I held near and dear to my heart. In fact, I did have some family members as well. Back there was alcoholism as well, and it's not as prominent as it is now. Like the way people are looking at drugs, are looking at alcoholism, or various things. But I did hold that near and dear to my heart. So with various things like that, I tried to find ways where I could be able to approach the leaders. Like, how could we be able to effectively um, promote, people not to be drinking and driving, for people to be able to understand the dangers of alcohol along with, driving, and just various things like that. So looking back during that time, a lot of it was just getting a notebook and writing things down. Then just kind of looking within myself, what would work, what wouldn't work. Then of course I would talk to my dad sometimes, and I would show him what I wrote, and if he thinks this is good, if I think I need to make adjustments, and then from there, that's when I would approach, various community leaders, and just be able to talk about that. But that's one thing that I did find very near and dear to my heart. So of course, I did, and when you talk to them, I gave them a full report pretty much in reference to that. And if I'm correct, it was probably like a 5-6 page report, but I remember like working hard. I wanted to make every single word like perfect, but nonetheless, I did the best product I could, and I handed it to them, and then I was just of course hope for the best, and hoped what I did helped to be able to have some kind of impact for the positive on our community.
We'd like to take a brief moment to update you on upcoming events and others in our community. We all work together to help our community grow and shine, and we'd like to take a moment to bring up a partner in community.
As far as a nonprofit, I would say United Way. In fact, working very closely with United Way, and especially recent months from the time that I was campaigning, specifically working with staff and the youth. And then most recently, we had a huge meeting, and I think it was very positive, and I feel that we could grow on that. So I would like to give a big shout out to United Way. Yes.
We at Collective Impact love being active in the community and hope that we can encourage you or someone you know to join us this summer in some upcoming events. The first thing we have is our regular future leaders meetings. We hope to build a space where our youth can find a place to get what they find important, the support they need to pursue that. Or it could just be hanging out, whether that be at our casita, a park, or just going out and doing something fun, like bowling. We encourage youth 14 to 24 to join us and get more involved with others their age within the community to build a better future. We also encourage those who are looking to go back to school soon to join the DNCU Back to School event on July 25th. More info to come. Stay up to date by checking out the United Way of New Mexico Facebook, and follow us on Instagram at collectiveimpact_NM and at United Way of NNM. Don't forget to also check out our Future Leaders Council Discord, where all things future leaders get direct updates. Now, back to the episode.
We return now with our mayor, Dennis Tim Salazar. So to continue our conversation, would you mind sharing with us a timeline of your career? You say that you joined the council at 23 years old, but was there anything that you were involved with in the community before then, perhaps like as a teenager, maybe in school?
Community service began, pretty much when I became a planning and zoning commissioner back around 23 and 24 years old. And then, of course, around that time, too, a good friend of mine was Oñate for the fiestas. So that helped me to learn more so about, in the big picture, teamwork, coming together. And that helped to prep me, because when I was 30 years old, that's when I first ran for the city council. So I was 30 years old back in 2004. I ran for the Espanola City Council. I recall that I was running against a political veteran as well. And of course, it was intimidating as heck. I was just this new kid, just with a bunch of fresh ideas, wanting to help to better our city, wanting to work with others. But I did give it my all. And back in the day, too, there were slates. I'm not sure if you heard of slates, but they were more prominent. So, at the time, there were 4 of us running together as a slate. So that's what we did. So actually, I think in a way it kind of helped me to run with others rather than than alone. So so with that stated, it was a citywide election. We weren't even in districts back then as well. So so I think that helped me. I went throughout the city. I just I spread my message. I spread what I wanted to do, and of course tried to make everything as positive as possible. And that's when I did win my first election. So so for the next 20 years, actually, was fortunate enough and thankful to be able to remain a city councilor during that time. And as mentioned, I worked with 5 different mayors. I worked with various city councilors, city managers, leaders, and so on. But I'm very grateful for that time because I've learned quite a lot. I also got to meet various leaders from other communities, municipalities, working together with various state leaders, our legislators, as well as governors and so on. So I'm very grateful for that time, but I feel like just everything little by little, piece by piece, brick by brick, I guess you could say, helped me to be where I am today.
Now, on the topic of youth, and previously in this conversation, you had mentioned that an important thing for this community to have is to have our youth more involved in like either our communities or in our politics, just to get out there. How would you suggest more of our youth get involved?
So back during the time that Javier Sanchez was mayor, he was mayor from 2018 to 2022. During his time as mayor, he did have a youth in council. So that individual was a youth from our community, and they would sit on the dais with us in city council meetings. So that is one aspect that I am looking at, but in reality, I would like to make it bigger. I would like to, of course, work with our schools all around the area, as well as our nonprofits and various other areas that help to involve youth, and look to see about either where something is already existing, or and to build on it, or be able to form some sort of youth council within the city of Española. So, so pretty much, of course, there would be various rules set, but they would have a president, vice chair, maybe a secretary treasurer, so on. Just however they would decide to be able to set it up, and then of course members from this youth council, and there would be various issues from the city that's going on, from our public safety to our public works to planning and zoning. And also, specifically when I mentioned public safety, this could involve specifically to police, to fire, and various areas that they see in our community where, where we may be lacking, so to say, and how we could be able to help to make our city stronger within our various departments. And not just that, but even other areas that we may not even be aware of that maybe our youth may be able to come up with, and how we could be able to be stronger as a whole. So they would be a type of advisory committee to our Española City Council. And I would love for them to be able to come to our council meetings, and based on their council meetings that they have, and be able to present like ideas, what they've come up with. But that's just something like, I'm kind of brainstorming in my mind, but this is going to take a lot of ideas to all of us, be able to come together, how to be able to hear these ideas and be able to effectively form something that will work, that'll be beneficial, and that'll will be able to sustain, throughout the remainder of the term, and hopefully, even longer. So again, there's just like little, things going on in my head right now, and just, things that I'm hearing out in the community, how we could be able to do that. But that is some type of a vision of mine, how we could be able to get started. But again, sometimes there's already something maybe working, even within our own community, maybe in another community that maybe have been proven successful. So, what for try to reinvent something that's already, working. So again, tailored to our community. You all know, I think, that our community is a very unique community here in northern New Mexico. But one thing about the city of Española is it's a beauty, but we are right next to Los Alamos, next to Taos, next to Santa Fe, and these are, well, of course, everybody knows Los Alamos for the labs and everything. Santa Fe and Taos are tourist towns, but what about Española? We have so much talent all around, in many aspects, from our art to the beauty, to many very talented individuals in many different areas. A lot of our people from our city, from our community, work at Lanel. You know what I mean? Of course, they work for the state government. So, how could we be able to tap into that to bring Española as an area where people will stop to look and want to visit rather than a pass through? And those are different areas. Like, how can we be able to talk about it? I think involving the youth is a perfect time right there to perfect opportunity to be able to do that. And then, of course, the youth that want to be involved, we'd be happy to have them. But at the same time, maybe this step will help to involve other youth. Looking back at myself and my friends when I was that age, like I mentioned, I was kind of in my shell. And I'm sure you guys see it all the time. There are individuals that are in their shell, like they're a little bit, kind of shy to say something in front of a group. Sometimes they, preferably one-on-one. But that's where I think that, we all could be able to help one another. And sometimes, once they start speaking, they have like so many brilliant ideas. But the point is helping to get them out of their shell to be able to effectively speak and, what they're thinking, what's on their mind, and how we could make, good things happen. So yeah, that's just, just a few of my ideas right here as how we could get that started. Yeah.
And now that we're kind of drawing closer to the end of our conversation, do you have any final thoughts or perhaps any comments that you'd like to make to our youth or perhaps even to the community at large?
Okay, yes, absolutely. One thing I would like to state is you all have done a phenomenal job, with the podcast. You guys keep up the good job, keep up the wonderful job. And I think as a little bit time goes, you're going to get, more of an audience, and just keep doing what you're doing. You guys keep committed. You guys are, I see you guys are tackling big issues already and how to be able to move forward. So I'm very proud to see this, and I'm very happy to see this. Anyway, going back to our youth is the future. So, again, just looking back at myself when I was younger, and that's exactly what I look at myself, and just, of course, my friends at the time too. I think we had just like a wealth of ideas. Maybe we didn't have the full idea of something, and of course, we needed some help, some guidance, and some individuals that, of course, have had more experiences, experienced life more. But I think a huge part is we just wanted to be listened to. And I did run across some people that, just kind of, brushed me off, and I did not like that. So I feel it's very important because that's where, a lot of these new, fresh ideas form, and how we could be able to move forward, especially, with the next generation and the next generation, and so on. And me personally, as a person, I want to make sure that my future grandkids, their kids, and so on, have the city of Española, have the community, have a thriving community, somewhere that is better than what it is right now. Of course, many communities, most communities, in our area, there's always going to be challenges, whether it's tackling crime or tackling drugs or, various things. But I think it's very important to be able to work on that, to be able to see how we could be able to tackle whatever issues are before us and work to help to make it a better place for the future here. But that's what I would like to see, a future for that to be able to happen, for for the opportunity to be here, for them to make a place here within Española, within northern New Mexico, and to know that they are going to be raised, in a safer place. But again, that's a dream, and right now is an opportunity as mayor, working with our city council, which I do feel that we are a very proactive city council. I think we could definitely be able to accomplish a lot. But again, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take a lot of help. And again, just like, I've been mentioning, working with our partners, but I do strongly feel that the youth is a huge part of it. And that's why, one reason why I do want to, of course, involve the youth. And I want to hear the youth's input and ideas. And of course, the youth working together, exploring these ideas, what works, what doesn't work, and then bring it to the city council, and how we could be able to make things work if it's something that we could possibly be able to move forward with. So there's a lot of promise, but it's up to all of us to make it happen. So I'm excited for that.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us today and finding the time to be on the Spaña Spotlight. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you, Tiana. Thank you, Miquella. Thank you both. You guys have been phenomenal. A lot of very good questions. In fact, it even took me back to my growing up years, and just being able to relive some areas where I was first inspired, and how to be able to want to do my part in the community. So thank you both. You keep doing a wonderful job. You guys are doing phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to those listening to this episode and supporting this podcast. Check out the city's website, www.españolanmusa.org, to learn more about what's going on in the city. Listen in our last episode where we talked to 2 future leaders and got to know them. Also check us out at www.unitedwaynm.org, and stay tuned for the next episode to hear about the National Latino Behavioral Health Association and their interns. Bye!
Bye.